Victoria's Labor government delivered its budget today. And after months of priming by Treasurer Tim Pallas, it was no shock to anyone to learn that there has been a massive blowout in the state's finances. Victoria's net debt is headed for $171 billion. It's an obscene sum for a state government, made possible only by an electorate that simply doesn't seem to be concerned anymore about sound economic management. Perhaps there's been desensitisation affected by years of governments bandying about big numbers. It's also enabled by weak oppositions. The ballooning debt is driven by a range of factors, including public service numbers that mean what was a $19 billion a year wage bill when Labor came to government will now cost $40 billion a year over the forward estimates. It's caused by a persistent pattern of infrastructure projects that don't come in on time and don't come in on budget. And it's caused by a nasty COVID hangover from the state that got the most draconian in its measures at the time, with the consequence of an economic impact that exceeded that which was felt in any other state. Do you remember this last November?
Our election commitments with no new increases, no new or increased taxes, no increase to net debt.
I certainly remember it. Well, Victorians are getting a COVID levy, which the Department of Weasel Words and Spin will no doubt try and say is a levy, not a tax, as if it makes a difference to people already struggling with the cost of living. For 10 years, Victorians with property and businesses will face higher taxes. 10 years of higher payroll taxes to raise another $3.9 billion over 4 years. More people will pay land tax, and those who pay it will do so at a higher rate to raise $4.7 billion over 4 years. It's a kick in the guts to small-time investors, the mum and dads who have put their families' aspirations on the line to try and prepare for their future. But even factoring these new taxes in, Victoria is in a sharply worse debt position than its closest comparison state. Net debt will hit, wait for it, $116.7 billion this financial year. And that's $500 million worse than we were told it would be in November's pre-election budget update. The debt peak forecast will also be higher than we've been previously told. So what does all that mean? Well, Victorians have to bear an interest bill of $8 billion a year by 2026. $8 billion. That's a whole lot of schools, 530 primary schools a year, 266 high schools a year, 8 state-of-the-art hospitals a year, hundreds of ambulances a year. I could keep going. A new arterial road every year. That's what $8 billion means. Well, Victorians will get none of that because the Andrews Labor government can't live within its means.